Welcome, my friends. This could be another part of our Scott Single retirement plan. Man, this is going to be awesome right here. This is part 3. All right, so we did the first 3 on the whiteboard downstairs. Now we're calling this Scott Single's 50. Can he retire at 60? And the answer is abundantly clear, yes. But here we're going to reduce his taxes significantly for part 3 of this. So this would be part 6 in the overall plan, but part 3 of the software right here. So remember, we started the first 3 downstairs, the whiteboard, drawing stuff up, use my my markers and whatnot, and now in my TI calculator, financial calculator on the whiteboard, but now we're diving into software, so part 3 of the software. So subscribe if you like what you see. This right here is going to be flipping awesome. So I've been playing around with these numbers probably about 2 hours. I can't wait to share this with you. All right, so the scenario again, Scott Single, 60 years old. He's 50 today. He makes $70,000 a year of income. He's got $200,000 in his 401k. His company matches 6%, and he's deferring $10,000 a year into it. His total expenses right now are about $3,500 a month. That includes his taxes, that includes his cost of living, and includes his health insurance. So a lot of people, where are we going to get his health insurance? That includes that, all right? Now, a single guy through work, probably $200 a month premium. Not talking significant premiums there. Now, when he separates from service, that's a different story. We don't know because that's 10 years outside right now. In fact, look, if he doesn't get insurance, am I going to yell at him? No. Should he get insurance? Yes. If he doesn't, it's going to be the worst thing that ever happened. No. So we can factor in that later, but we have no clue what the insurance market is going to be. So to say I need $2,000 a month in insurance 10 years out, I don't see that's feasible for your retirement plan. You can, by all means, but we're not doing that today. So we're saying at the end of the day, Scott Single needs $3,500 a month in today's numbers. And we're going to inflate that each and every year, which again is suspect too. But let's just start from there. So let's go down into it. So again, he's got balance sheet of $202,000. Simply his IR is 401k. That's it. In fact, you can see that grew just because yes, they have a pretty good up market. It's all invested in the Vanguard Life Strategy Growth Fund. So he's probably getting, let's say around 6.5 to 7% all in, which is what we're shooting for, about 7%. All right. So let's dive into this. So I want to go to here. And I want to share with you what we're doing here, what I've changed around a little bit. So we're doing savings, all right? So instead of doing $10,000 into his deferred 401k, he's doing $10,000 into the Roth 401k, all right? So remember, goes into the Roth, he doesn't have a tax deduction on it. It is taxable as income. I'll show you on the tax form here in just a second. Now, the issue is the money that the company's putting in still goes in the tax deferred bucket. So you have 2 buckets growing, one the Roth, the tax-free, and one the tax deferred. So you got to keep that in mind. Now, what happens is, let's take a look at the taxes. I just want to show you. And we're going to go, don't look too much because I want to share it with you. It's crazy how awesome it's going to be. So 2019, 1040. And what you see here is $70,000 on line 7, his wages, salaries, and tips. And remember, when he did the 401k where he's deferring it, we had $10,000 wiped off here. It's just $60,000 because he had deferrals, all right? And so the deferrals weren't taxed. Now they will be taxed. All right, let's keep going here. So now what I also want to do is a couple things. We're going to do we did the 401k. We're going to do income. All right, so here we're also going to take Social Security at 67. Remember, he's single, all right? So if you're single, taking Social Security at 67, your full retirement age, isn't the worst thing that ever happened, especially if you're not trying to leave a legacy to a spouse, because the reason you'd want to take Social Security later at 70 is if you're trying to leave a life insurance component, essentially a death benefit. It's not a one-time payout, but it's a survivor benefit. It's probably the better word. And so the longer you defer taking Social Security, the more your spouse is going to get, potentially, depending on how you break that out between your and your spouse's Social Security benefits. But remember, so right now he's going to take at 67. There's a reason I did that for sure. Now, when he hits 60, when he retires in 2028, he's going to start converting $15,000 a year from his 401k over to his Roth IRA. So if you're doing the software, you got to make sure you click that little button, check that box that says convert to Roth. So he's doing $15,000 a year from his 401k into his Roth when he stops working. All right. So far, so good. $10,000 a year going to the 401k, Roth 401k, and his company's putting 6% of his salary. That's $4,200 a year going to the traditional side. At 60, he'll stop working. And at that point, he'll start converting $15,000 a year from his 401k to his Roth. And on top of that, he'll take Social Security at 67. So let's shake things out here and let's see retirement. And again, if we go to retirement, analysis, he only has a 57% proposed plan, and that's fine because again, we've increased his income to $3,000 a month from the $2,250 originally. So the $2,250 was discretionary because we already had a boatload of taxes coming out of here, guys. In terms of his taxes he was paying. So when he factored in the taxes and his discretionary, that was the $3,500 a month for now while he's working. So I said, well, at the end of the day, he's going to probably have a whole lot less taxes, and we'll show you how that's how we validate that. And so we're going to increase his retirement monthly expenses to $3,000 a month when he retires in 10 years, and that will be worth more than $3,000 now because we're inflating it with 3%. And on top of it, he'll still have taxes on top of that as well. And we'll talk about the cash flow here in just a second. So I'm not all that concerned about this right here, the 57%. Why does it keep doing that? There you go. I don't know why I keep doing that line. But we can change this any way we want. I mean, so we can say between 2,250 and 3,000, you have 100%, 97% probability of success, a 57% probability of success. Either one's fine. Now, at the end of the day, what we've done here is we've said, now, I mean, we're assuming this expenditure will keep on each and every year growing at a 3% inflation clip until you die. And it's just not likely to happen. So that's why if he were to say, can I do this between these two numbers? I say, absolutely, man. So let's just go back to current strategy, and then we'll just go back to his current allocation and redo that here because the current strategy is to take it at 67, and that might drop it a tad, 51%, simply because his current allocation is a little bit less aggressive than the aggressive allocation because he does have some bonds in there, and I don't want bonds, but be it as it may. But he's between 50 and 100% success of retirement. I'm completely fine with that. We can change this to 2750 if we want, and he'll still be in good shape. He'll be in better shape. And again, that's all including but the taxes are on top of that. I'll show you here in just a second. So if we change it to $2,750, $250 a month less, it goes from 51 to 70%. All right. So let's go now to what's going on here? Yeah, there we go. There we go. All right, let's go to the cash flows. All right. So we're going to do cash flows here. Oh, man, this is awesome. Make sure time checks. I might have to split this up into two because if I go over 15 minutes, it gives me a hard time downloading these. All right, so here we got total income flows. You can see his salary, his income, and then his salary. Now, adjusted with inflation, it grows to the $88,000 by the time he's 60 years old, and it drops. There's no income when he's 60 years old, none whatsoever. All right, but we do have expenses. All right, so his expenses again are the $27,000 living expenses, which we're adjusting each and every year. So by the time he hits 60, is $43,000 a month living expenses. All right, so that's roughly $4,000 a month. Other expenses, I don't think there are any. No, but then we have taxes on top of that. So his taxes, as you can see, 27. What do we say? 27,000. What do we say for expenses? In the year 2019, 27,000 in living expenses. On top of these taxes right here, 17,000. That's 44,000 right there, which is significantly higher than what we initially anticipated, 3,500. But you can see, so we go down to 2028. We got taxes at 12,235 because there's no more FICA. All right, so we got tax at 12,235, just federal and state. On top of that, we have living expenses at that point of 12,000 and 43,000 living expenses. So you can see this isn't chump change. I mean, this isn't squalor here that we're saying, oh, you got to eat nothing but ramen noodles. Between his taxes and his living expenses, he's looking at 55,000 a year. And so if we keep going down to living expenses, it keeps growing and growing and growing and growing. Now, I don't expect this to here 73,000 with 78, 75,000 with 79, 77,000. It's just not going to happen like that. But that's what the planning software shows you. Every planning software shows you that. And I challenge that to some degree. All right. Well, I don't challenge it to some degree. I challenge it to completely. All right. So let's go to accounts. Here's his 401k. And now here's this Roth 401k. He's starting to add 10,000 a year to his Roth, 10,000 a year to his Roth. And by the time he retires, he's got 400 right here, 457,000 in his, I think I can, right here. All right. How do I do that again? Do I click on this guy? I forgot. Shift. Yeah, there we go. All right. Oops. All right, good. So you see 457,000. I mean, the reason I'm not showing the rest of the screen because it's going to be awesome. Remember, my goal is for you to live on Social Security in your Roth, never to pay tax again. ever. All right. So here he's got 457 in his traditional 401k. He's got 124,000 in his Roth 401k when he retires. All right. So he retires 457. Now he starts taking 15,000 from his Roth, from his traditional into his Roth, and you can see his Roth is building by 15,000 a clip, 15,000, 15,000. And his traditional is going down and down and down until he hits 68 years old to 69 years old. He's got nothing in there. All right. So now he's just his Roth 401k. Now we would want to transfer that over to his traditional Roth IRA because there are required distributions on the Roth 401k. It won't matter from a tax perspective, but there are some. So you can see it's still growing even with those RMDs. In fact, you can see it's starting to decline here. 379 to 378 to 376. And so that money that he's using is going into this taxable account. So the Roth 401k, that he's not spending essentially because I'm going to show you here in just a second, is being reinvested in his taxable account, which would be just stupid. We'd absolutely want to move that Roth 401k to his Roth IRA, and it's not a taxable event. I'm not even sure I can do that. I haven't thought about how to do that yet, but one time we'll do that next time. All right, so let's pause there because this next part is going to be awesome. Oh, I can't wait. I just want to make sure when I download this, I can actually upload it because I did one last night. I had a 27-minute video and I downloaded, just sat there and cycled and cycled. I was like, man, you got to be kidding me. So I want to make sure I can download these things. So when I do, they'll go in shorter clips because I'm using this Square software called Screencast-O-Matic, which is a lot clearer, a lot crisper, and gives a little bit more options like to be able to do this stuff. But the problem is that it's just a bigger file. And so it's harder to download. So stay tuned. Come back next time because you're going to see part 2 where the tax man starts looking great. And he won't be happy, that tax man, but my man Scott Single will be. So stay tuned.